Today we're going to talk about the essay, and this is going to be an introduction lesson to the essay. To begin with, let's talk about going from the paragraph, which we know how to write already, to what the organization looks like in an essay. So let's start with the paragraph. We know that a paragraph begins with a topic sentence, and that topic sentence tells the main idea. This main idea tells the reader what the entire paragraph will talk about. Then after the topic sentence, we have support. So we may have 2, 3, or 5 supporting points. Each of these have a connection to the topic sentence. Then lastly, we have the concluding sentence. And the concluding sentence summarizes the paragraph and brings the paragraph to a close. So we know this already about the organization of a paragraph. To organize the essay, it's not that different. It's just longer and has a few more points. So an essay, just like this one, is green and blue and green. An essay is the same way, green and blue and green. So that means that the topic sentence comes at the beginning, but the topic sentence is going to add more information so that it becomes a whole paragraph. This is called the introduction paragraph. The introduction paragraph has a hook, it has background information, and lastly, it has the thesis statement. The thesis statement is what the topic sentence is in a paragraph. The thesis statement tells the main idea of the whole essay. The thesis statement tells the main idea of the whole essay. So the thesis statement is really, really important to the essay, right? We don't want to forget the thesis statement. After the introduction paragraph, now we have to focus on the blue. So remember that the blue is the support. Supporting point number 1 is going to become body paragraph number 1. So again, what was one or a few sentences is now a whole paragraph. So we have to add more information to this paragraph to make it complete. A body paragraph begins with a topic sentence that tells the main idea of that paragraph, and then it adds supporting sentences that connect to that topic sentence. Supporting point number 2 looks the same way, but it becomes body paragraph number 2. So it has a new idea and it's in a new paragraph. And then supporting point number 3, can you guess? It becomes body paragraph number 3. Again, it has a topic sentence and supporting sentences, and it has to be a new idea, different from body paragraph 2, different from body paragraph 1. Now, I've written 3 body paragraphs, but there's not always 3 body paragraphs in an essay. There might be 2 body paragraphs. There might be 7 body paragraphs. It depends on our thesis statement and what we're trying to say in the essay. Lastly, the concluding sentence is going to become a paragraph of its own called the conclusion paragraph. The conclusion paragraph looks very similar to what we've been learning already about paragraphs. It restates the thesis, or gives a summary of the main points. A summary of the main points would be like the 3 body paragraph points. And then it ends with a final thought that tells the reader, okay, the essay is finished, right? So again, the essay does not look that different from the paragraph. It just is longer, and each of the ideas is put in a separate paragraph. Let's look a little bit more closely at the introduction now. So we said the introduction has 3 parts. The hook is kind of like something to interest the reader or make the reader interested in reading more about the essay. The background information tells essential information that the reader needs to know in order to understand the rest of your essay. And then lastly, the thesis statement is the argument of your essay. It tells the main idea, or it tells what we're trying to prove in our paper. So for example, if someone asked me, what is the best food in Chicago, right? Without a doubt, I have an argument. I would say that Chicago pizza is the best food in Chicago. I love Chicago pizza. So in my essay, my thesis statement would say that argument. Chicago pizza is the best food in Chicago, right? This is what I'm trying to prove to my reader. This is what I want my reader to believe, that Chicago pizza is the best, right? So my goal in the rest of the essay is to prove that to my reader that my argument is true, or prove that my thesis statement is true. So all of my body paragraphs should be reasons why Chicago pizza is the best pizza in Chicago, right? Or Chicago pizza is the best food in Chicago, right? So the body paragraphs are meant to prove that. Everything is connected to proving that this is true. Okay, let's talk about the hook, right? A hook in English, the word hook is this little thing here that you see that is carrying the worm that the fish really wants to eat, right? So just like a hook captures a fish's attention, a hook in an essay also needs to capture the reader's attention in the essay, and it needs to make the reader want to read more. To do this, we can think about the reader's life, right? The reader has their own life outside of the essay. We want to create a bridge that helps the reader get interested in the world of my essay, right? So I want to think about, what is the connection between the reader's life and my essay? What is the connection? Let's take an example. Let's say that my teacher asked me to write about what are the causes of car accidents, right? So I know my essay is going to talk about the causes of car accidents, and I need to know what is the connection between my reader's life and the causes of car accidents. So I'm going to start very general. I might have an example hook like this. More than 90 people die in car accidents in the US every day. Oh my gosh. Now, all of a sudden, this is not just about my essay, but this is a connection. Now, my reader probably cares about this. They might say, oh my gosh, 90 people die in car accidents in the US every day? I live in the US. That's a lot of people, right? So this fact or statistic can help to connect my reader to my essay. Another type of hook could be something like this. For the same essay, we could say, if you have ever been in or seen a car accident, you know how dangerous they can be, right? And my reader might say, I have been in a car accident, or I have seen a car accident. It was very dangerous. I agree, right? So another strategy to write a hook is make a statement that the reader can relate to. When we say relate to, it's usually like the reader has a connection. The reader can agree that this is true, maybe, okay? So again, fact or statistic is one way to write a hook. A statement that the reader can relate to is another way. There are other ways as well, and we'll look at more examples as we read more essays, okay? After we write a hook, we need to provide our reader with background information, right? We need to tell the reader any information that they need to know or need to remember in order to understand the essay. So again, if our topic is causes of car accidents, I might tell where car accidents happen or when car accidents happen to kind of remind my reader that accidents happen in many places at many times, right? I want my reader to remember that in order to understand the rest of my essay. So I could say something like, car accidents happen in many places, including on the expressway at high speeds, or around the corner from your house, or when you're stopped at a stoplight, or when you're picking your children up from school. So this helps my reader to think about car accidents and how common they are. And this is really important to the next step, my thesis statement, because I want my reader to believe, wow, car accidents can happen in a lot of places, so that then they can care about what causes the car accidents. Okay, our last part of the introduction is the thesis statement. The thesis statement is usually the last sentence of the introduction, right? So we don't want to put it at the beginning or in the middle. We want to put it as the last sentence of the introduction so the reader really remembers it, okay? The thesis statement answers the assignment question and can outline the points of the paper that will be discussed, right? So I like to think of the thesis statement like a road map. The thesis statement gives a map or a guide to your reader. And if the reader reads this map before they read the rest of the essay, they will know what the rest of the paper will be about, right? So if I say there are many causes of car accidents, the reader knows that this essay is going to talk about the causes of car accidents, right? The thesis statement may list the exact points or might be more general, right? So when I say the exact points, I mean the 3 points of the body paragraph. You can say what each body paragraph will be about, or you can keep it general. Let's look at an example. So here I have the assignment question, what are the causes of car accidents? A general thesis statement would be, there are many causes of car accidents, right? Here, I don't know the exact causes. I don't know the 3 body paragraphs, but I do know that the body paragraphs will talk about a cause of car accidents. If I want to tell the exact points that will be discussed, I could make a more specific one like this. Here's another thesis statement for the same essay. There are many causes of car accidents, but the most common ones are drunk driving, distracted driving, and careless driving. So I've underlined these 3 points because these are what my body paragraphs will talk about. Body number 1 will talk about how drunk driving causes car accidents. Body number 2 will talk about how distracted driving, like using your cell phone or talking to your friend, how distracted driving causes car accidents will be in body number 2. And then body number 3, can you guess what it will be about? It will talk about careless driving and how careless driving causes car accidents, okay? So again, either thesis statement is okay. One is more general, but it still provides a map for the reader. And the second one is more specific, and we can think about it like a more detailed map for the reader that tells them what the rest of the essay will be about. Okay, so a little bit of practice for the thesis statements. I have some questions below, 1 through 4. I'd like you to practice writing a thesis statement for each of the questions below. Your thesis statement could be general, right? Where you don't tell what each body paragraph will be about exactly, or it could tell the exact supporting points that will be discussed in the body paragraphs. So you can decide how you want to do this. But because this takes some time to think about, I'd like you to stop the video, pause the video while you do this exercise. And then in just a moment, I'm going to give you the answers. So make sure that you pause the video so you can practice by yourself. Okay, so here are some example answers. Yours might be different. That's okay. Number 1, assignment question, what are the effects of exercise? I have a general one here that you can read, and then I have a more exact supporting points. Notice in the second one, the exact supporting points are exercise improves your mood, exercise helps you lose weight, and the third one, exercise helps you avoid illness and disease. So each of these will become my 3 body paragraphs, right? In the first one, it just says many positive effects of exercise. So that tells me that each body paragraph will talk about 1 positive effect, okay? For number 2, I chose to write a general thesis statement. My life now is drastically different from my life in my country. So here it gives me a map of the essay. It tells me the essay will talk about how my life is drastically different from my country, but it doesn't tell me how exactly. So I'll need to read the body paragraphs to find out how. In number 3, I wrote a general one as well. Although many people think learning English is very difficult, there are a few key strategies you can use to improve your English. So here, a few key strategies is the general information, but I don't know exactly what those strategies are, so I'll have to read the body paragraphs to find out. And in number 4, I'm inspired by many people, but the most influential person in my life is my mother because she sacrificed everything for her family and is working hard to save the environment. Here, I'm telling the exact supporting points. Now, how many supporting points do you think I have? I have 2, right? Because I have 2 reasons why my mother is the most influential person. She sacrificed everything for her family's number 1. And then she's working hard to save the environment, number 2. So that means I will have only 2 body paragraphs for this essay, okay? So again, your thesis statements for this might be different. That's okay, but just a little bit of practice with looking at the question and then trying to answer that question in our thesis statements. All right, students, so you've done great. I hope that this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, as always, please email me and let me know. And feel free to watch this video as many times as you want. It is a great resource for you, and I hope that it's helpful.